Yeah, yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
That's nice.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Like to open up the November 14th special meeting of the Occupancy Tax Coordination Committee. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the October 21st committee meeting. Motion made by Supervisor E2, seconded by Supervisor Runyon. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Privilege of the floor and public comment. We have one resolution in front of us today. This resolution is to consider contracting with Numo Tax and Licensing for end-to-end occupancy tax portal. Registration through payment. Very good. The service would include automation and optimization of E2E OCC tax processes for Warren County lodging properties. Need a motion to move this? Motion made by Supervisor Runyon. We can discuss.
No, I apologize for interrupting. I just want to make sure there's an update on the resolution form with regards to the total cost of the project.
Should we move it first or we have done? Move it first. Motion made by Supervisor Runyon, seconded by Supervisor Thomas. Any further discussion? No, I'm not going to approve anything. No. Good. Oh, yeah, go ahead. No. Go ahead.
So in reviewing the cost of the program based on RFP submission and the receipt of that RFP, the costs are going to total $145,000 for the entire contract. And that breaks down in year one. It'll be a $40,000 annual fee plus a $10,000 implementation fee in year one. There's also two additional modulars that the treasurer is using. It's the bulk filling and the ability for taxpayers to use credit resulting from an underpayment or amendment returning online to reduce another filing amount. Those total $5,000. So again, that was $40,000 annual fee, $10,000 one-time implementation fee, and a $5,000 additional modular fee for year one. Year two is the annual fee of $40,000 plus the $5,000 additional modular, meaning $45,000. And then year three is $40,000 annual fee plus the $5,000 additional modulars. Adding those up, that's $145,000, and the payments will be made based on the RFP, how the RFP was submitted by the applicant.
So the 180 is getting crossed out. The 145 is going in.
Correct.
The 5,000, what would that be used for? It's broken down into two payments.
Correct. So 2,500, which is called bulk filing. And then the other 2,500 is the ability for taxpayers to use credits resulting from an underpayment or amended return online to reduce another filing amount.
Want me to add some clarity?
Yeah.
So,
No,
so the bulk filing, New York State, they're a short-term rental sales tax law. Thank you. The short-term rental sales tax law requires every single short-term rental to have its own ID. So historically, we've had people like Northern Living, Davies and Davies, who've had 20, 30 STRs all under one identification. And they would do one filing. They can no longer do that. They have literally, we've already done that. We've already changed it. So every short-term rental has one unique code. And this is the way New York State.
What happens if it's on the same property?
Well, if you have three rentals on one property, it's all considered one property.
Okay.
Okay. But so right now, this is how New York State is going to make sure that everybody's paying their their sales tax. It creates a huge problem for these these managers who have multiples. So the bulk filing, they're still going to be individual, but they're allowed to do it once in one bulk filing, but we'll have all the breakout.
And New York State is saying that.
New York State,
That makes no sense to me, but New York State, New York State. So if I have one property here, one property a mile down the street, and another property a half a mile down the street, they all have to have a separate filing number, a separate LLC?
they have a separate address. No, they don't have to have a separate
Yeah,
LLC.
it's one LLC, but a separate filing. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes.
Okay,
I mean, it's
or
The se-
whatever.
the second one, is if there's any kind of error, any kind of mistake, it basically gives us the ability to go back and to apply credits, to their account go forward. If
Okay.
I can just take a minute, because I think a lot of people are a little unclear on this, what exactly is changing? So right now, Warren County, Mike Swan and Lisa, Mandy have built a very robust manual registry. We take so many calls. It is, and it's Herculean, if you ask me. And right now there are systems out there that will automate 95% of this. So what we're going to be doing is building a portal for our STRs, not just our STRs, it's going to be hotels, motels, and resorts as well. All of you guys that exist, we're going to set you up in the system, so you're not going to have to do anything. But new people that come in are going to have the ability to go in and register themselves based on their unique identifier. Then they're going to be able to actually pay their taxes online. It's going to be figured out online, whether, and if they're late, there's going to be interest and penalty in the system that's already calculated. It's kind of dummy proof. And then they're actually going to be able to pay online. And so it's going to be automated end to end, registration through automation. And for people like Vinny, who already has their hotels, motels, resorts, and has some dealings with VRBO and whatever Airbnb, it's still going to be automated, except his front end is already going to be done because he's already done it, but he's going to now be able to pay online. What that means for our team, because a lot of manual work is going to go away, we're basically going to start adding value at a higher level. We're going to start focusing on whether or not people are really paying us what they should be paying us, because we know a lot of people underreport. We also don't really, we want to really hold the platforms. We want to trust but validate what they're telling us. And in the past, we haven't totally been able to do that. We're hoping to be able to do that. And then the other thing, so there's going to be a lot more analysis. There's going to be a lot of exception reporting. So when something doesn't work in the system, we're going to be able to go in there. The other thing that this NUMO gives us is they actually take they're the first line of defense. Any kind of bumps in the night or calls that our STR owners have, they go to them first. And if they can't answer it, then they come to us. So it's significantly reducing our manual efforts. And the big thing that I'm hoping we can do is right now there are 37 other counties in New York State that are still have these VCA, these voluntary collection agreements, where Airbnb just gives you $500,000 a year with no detail. And that's what they originally wanted to do with Warren County, and Mike Swan was like, no way. So what I'm hoping to do is once we get this running steady state and it's working and all the bells and whistles are going off exactly the way they're supposed to, and NISAC is partnering with me on this, I want to be able to go out to the other people in New York State, the other counties who don't have the money or don't have the processes and want to have the processes. And I want to, hopefully we'll offer a shared service for a administration fee. So we will be hopefully bringing revenue into Warren.
You know anybody else that's using them? Because we went Deckard, we were
Yeah,
Deckard for a little while.
Yeah,
right?
Deckard-
Granicus is gone, then we went to Deckard and
Yep.
we decided not to.
Deckard has a very good identification and compliance module. It's very good. What they don't have is they don't have an end-to-end portal. They do have it. It's just not very good.
Okay.
GovOS, or excuse me, now it's NUMO, has been in the tax registration compliance area and reporting area for decades. We talked to a guy in Florida that has the end-to-end portal and all of the reporting. And it's really very, very effective and it's very efficient. And then what he does is kind of on an every other year basis, he'll go in and do the compliance again, the identification and compliance. Again, we just did 2 years, every other year with Granicus. This year, we don't need to do another identification and, sure, things are going to change, but I'd rather get this end-to-end portal working. And then the next year, and just so you know, it's another $10,000 charge if we want to go with the module for identification and compliance. It would be an add-on, but we're not going to do that until this is up and running steady state. So we're not losing the identification ability to make sure everybody's, you know, registered that's meant to be registered. But the other thing that's helping us out with that is the fact that New York State is now, you know, got them with 7% sales tax. We almost thought that the identification and compliance was going to go away because the way New York State tax law is written for the sales tax, the platforms are meant to give us exactly who's reporting and they're supposed to check with us. And if they're not registered with us, they can't do business with them. So the identification and compliance was going to be, it was going to be in there. Just by the process,
Yeah.
but the platforms are not playing. They're not following the law. They're saying there's privacy concerns and it's onerous. So they're not doing it.
Platforms collecting and. bring it to
Airbnb is
you, and
not
you-
collecting at all.
They stop. Okay.
Airbnb is sending
Falls
money
back
back to
on-
the hosts. The RBO is collecting and sending us $100,000 checks with no detail.
Yeah, that's a problem. Okay.
All right.
Thank
Any
you,
other
sir.
questions? Yep.
Supervisor Patchett?
When you use the term end-to-end portal, does that essentially just mean that it's fully automated and it takes your office out of the equation?
It doesn't take yes, it's end-to-end automated. It doesn't take my office out. Basically, what we do is we now sit on top of it and monitor it. And we're going to now be focusing on more analytics and making sure that people aren't underreporting. We're going to be doing more audits. The reporting out of the system is going to let us know when things don't look right.
Mhm.
And we're going to be doing more audits. So yes, our role right now is in transformation. It's going to take us a year to exactly figure things out. But again, what I'm hoping is we're going to take up the new time that we have for more analytics, more payments, more audits, and then also hopefully for a shared service.
That's good.
So one more,
Patchett?
just one more question. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding the contract with Pneumo Tax and Licensing correctly. Essentially, this is a way for Warren County to be collecting our 4% occupancy tax from hotels, motels, resorts, and STRs in a fully automated way, and it's going to essentially reduce the labor in a big way.
Yes,
Thank you.
no more checks. Well, and if that's the other thing I need to let you know, there are people that don't want to pay us an extra dime, and I can appreciate that. And so they're going to send us checks. What I'm really hoping to do, and you know what, they can, and that's fine. But hopefully that'll be like 20% and 80% will automate it. Because everybody I talk to that has a short-term rental is like, when are you going to help us out here? Let us pay online. So what we're going to do is we have multiple ways of letting them pay. They're going to be able to pay through a check, through an ACH, and we've got very competitive rates, and credit card as well as debit card with very competitive rates. And then there's potentially an ACH that's going to cost like a dime, anywhere from a dime to $1. I'm still kind of negotiating that. And we may, especially if it's on the dime side, I may come to you guys and say, hey, you know, if we do it this way, we're really automating it and we're helping people out in Warren County. Can we suck up the dime? You know, can we do it? You know, can we pay that dime?
They
But
pay credit card, they pay the processing
they pay the
fee.
processing. Yeah, ACH is the cheapest way to do it. Anybody else? Yes.
Supervisor,
Why in the first year are we paying for the two modules and I mean, it's the middle of November. So why don't we do that in 2026 and save ourselves what $10,000?
fiscal year.
Yeah, so this isn't running on calendar years. So the first year contract takes us from 11 to hopefully if Mr. Garrity signs it on 11/24, I'll get some, you know, at least get some prep done. But the first year contract runs from 11/24/25 to 11/23/26. So we're getting it for the full year.
Okay.
So in a budget response, it's split between 2 years.
Do you have a
And we
question,
have the
Supervisor?
funds in both 55 or 25 and 26. And I will budget for it beyond that.
Thank you. When does the Granicus contract end?
Oh, it's been ended for a while. Yeah, it ended in April.
The budget code, is that the 150,000? On the next page, it says another budget code, the whole jail renovation. I didn't know what that was, but I think. That's just, oh, okay.
Oh.
And so will you pay from this from Heather's budget or your budget? And if it's from yours, is it from the OCTAX that you see into your budget?
So right now, it is in the Heather's Octax budget. It's not in our budget with the money we receive from Octax. However, I think I'm gonna look at that next year as well, but more importantly, I think when we get to a shared service, we'd like to just pay for it ourselves. Right now, for that, the money that we get from Heather, the $40,000, I'd like to do an analysis of time stay, because it's not just the treasurer's department that spends time on Octax, it's all of you. So it's the county clerk, it's the board. Larry spends a tremendous amount of time with us, the administrative spends a tremendous amount of time with us. So, and again, I don't need to keep that money, I'm happy to share it with you, but I think that there needs to be an analysis of the administration fee. And we are on the low end of the administration fee. We are 3%, and there are people between 10 and 15%. Counties, excuse me, there are counties between 10 and 15%.
Any way to quantify the savings in your staff's time and?
Not yet. Honestly, I haven't done that analysis. We have a question. Nate? Somebody has a question.
Pounds, I think. How are the towns affected by this?
Oh, they're not. Towns aren't affected.
Not yet. Actually, thank you for that question. That's an excellent question. If you'll notice on the next page, one of the optional modules is called a hotline, which you might be, the towns may be very interested in. So I shared with you that they are the first line of defense for anybody who has a question with the portal and our basic process, but that's just the county and that's all of our people. The hotline is actually for code enforcement. So eventually, once we're up and running on a county level, I would like to see how we can help, get the municipalities access to the same sort of end-to-end process. And then this hotline is literally, it's about, if people are like after the noise levels, somebody's party until midnight, they literally will call the cops. They know if an STR has the person within 30 minutes or whatever, that's supposed to answer all of the issues. If the lights are out, the heat's not working, things like that. That hotline for $16,000 a year, that's for that. They will be your first line of defense for the towns. So that's not me, that's for the towns, and that's an option go forward, but right now I'm not looking at that.
Okay,
Are you following me?
I am, but I don't know how it ties into, local code or enforcement or,
We would have to make it,
yeah.
we would
I
make
mean,
it.
We use, Lake George uses Granicus still. But, we require everyone to put a contact number, on their short-term rental.
So what I would do when we're ready to do that, I would basically make them work against each other to get the best price and the best.
You're saying if there's a
Profit.
problem, they see the number to Numo, they call them and they.
And Numo has all of the details and will go to all of the numbers, whether it's the 30-minute contact, whether it's the police, whether it's the fire station, whatever.
Okay.
So that's great. If you're still using Granicus, that's great. I'm just saying this might be an option go forward and it may be more cost effective.
Yeah, I'm not.
And you may be able to use this as Lake George, Warrensburg, et cetera, if you want to do an end-to-end with your registration processes. Again, it's kind of much simpler than the county process, but if you wanted to automate your registration process and have them pay online. And again, my goal with the payment online is to do it throughout the county and then to offer it to the municipalities as well. But county first.
That's down the road a little bit.
Yeah, at least a year.
Motion on the floor. Any more questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Thank you.
You?
And thanks for my lesson on how to do contracts better go forward and resolutions.
Discussion items, none, referrals, none, privilege of the floor and public comment. Motion to adjourn. Motion made by Supervisor Etu, seconded by Supervisor Patchit. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed,